Weatherald or Marnus. There may well be room for both. If they choose to go with only the one all-rounder, and we'll talk about Cameron Green a little bit later, if Green or Webster bat 6, 2 and 3 are both available. You've got the opener alongside Khawaja and potentially the number 3, and if they put Marnus back at 3, there's still room for Weatherald or Constas or any of these guys that we're talking about. So just because Labuschagne has taken his chance this one Shield game, there's still a couple more to go. There's still plenty of cricket to play out before the Ashes, right?
It really does come down to what the national selectors want. Since David Warner's retirement, they've stuck by this, the best 6 batters in the country, and will manipulate them and fit them into the top 6. And we've seen Steve Smith open, Marnus Labuschagne open. They've kind of manipulated the team in a way to make this work. Or do they pick the players based on their preferred role? Marnus 3, Steve Smith 4. Green, realistic at 6, is probably where he's the strongest at the moment, and then a specialist opener alongside Khawaja. That would mean Webster, unfortunately, missing out. What we haven't touched on is he missed this round of Shield because of a minor ankle injury. He's meant to be back for the next Shield round, but it really just comes down to what the selectors want from this top 6, and we don't have a firm clue of what that is just yet, but maybe the next couple of Shield rounds will help make the picture a little bit clearer.
Yeah, I think it's probably more likely than last summer that they go with a specialist opener, seeing as McSweeney didn't quite work, but we'll wait and see how that unfolds. Now, speaking of South Australia, last week I said my smoky for an Ashes spot was Henry Hunt, and he's gone out and made me look very good by getting 136 in the first innings. It was off a lot of balls. He faced 300 balls on that first day, but the opposition were bowling so wide to him. He was just so patient, leaving it alone outside the off stump.
He's done this before. I remember a few years ago when South Australia were performing really terribly, actually, in the Shield. They'd come the bottom. They got the wooden spoon 2 years in a row. The one match that really kind of kick-started things for the Redbacks, or formerly known as Redbacks, was him batting out a 4th day and eking out a draw. I think he got 97 that day towards the end of the summer. This reminded me a lot about that. He was so patient. He batted the entire of the first day. And yeah, he really has the makings of a traditional opener. You know, you think of, generations past, not so much the David Warners, the Ben Ducketts that we see now.
A proper opener.
A proper old school opener, 100%. And no, it's great to see. He's been in and around Australia for a while. He's had a really strong knack of converting to triple 100. I think he got 3 Shield 100s last summer. And, if he continues pressing his case, he's every chance. I mean, it depends if the national selectors want that kind of old school opener. Warner did it so successfully. Maybe they want more of an attacking player, Marnus 2.0 or Weatherald. But he's certainly nailing it at the moment. He looks fantastic. Yeah, it's
his 12th first-class century it was. This one against Scott Boland too. I mentioned last week about how one of his ones last year was against a pink ball bowling Lance Morris and Jai Richardson. He gets difficult runs, it seems, and I think that is something that will count in his favour. Still, I think he's a little bit down the pecking order. Last week we did our top 5s. Labuschagne was at 1 for you. Weatherald was at 1 for me. I probably inverted that now. I think I'm with you now that Marnus is number 1 with Weatherald 2. Are you with the same? I think you had Constas 2 last week.
I think you're exactly right. And Marnus is well ahead at this stage, just through his experience, multiple Test hundreds, a former world number 1. But yeah, it really is going to come down to the configuration of that top 6. Is he better as a number 3 or an opener? Should Steve Smith bat at 3 to make room for Cameron Green at 4? These are all things that the national selectors are going to have to weigh up over the next month or so.
Speaking of Cameron Green, his long-awaited return to the bowling crease. We were told and expecting that he was going to bowl 8 overs, but with the way the match played out with the rain delay, they didn't want him to bowl on consecutive days, so he only bowled the 4 overs. Took a wicket second ball though. Did you see enough from him?
Oh, he's back. No, 100%. He had good rhythm and fluidity through his running crease, and that's really important. Maybe a little bit slower than he was 4 or 5 years ago when he first burst onto the scene as a specialist fast bowler, batting at 8 or 9. Very exciting. He'll build up towards the Ashes. He says he expects to be basically back to full fitness for that first test. And yeah, I'm sure next round, if he does play the second round or the third round, he'll make a few longer spells. He'll hopefully take a few more wickets. And he's a perfect accomplice for Australia's side because, in this Ashes series, bowler rotation is going to be huge. And he's going to be the kind of the glue for this bowling attack at many stages throughout the summer. So fingers crossed he can keep his back together, he can build up his body, his strength, and be a massive weapon for Australia.
I wonder if how much the Shield form of Cam Green and Webster will come into that selection conversation. 19 and 24 with the bat for Green. Certainly nothing special, but again, that pitch was very tricky, and he got this incredible caught and bowled. Charlie Stobo did really well. If there's if that, say, Cairns Green's highest scores going into the first test, that will be a consideration of selectors. If that guy's your number 3, you're probably going to want to be seeing some more runs to make sure if you're putting him and Webster in the team with Green batting higher up the order, I think he probably needs to be doing better than 19 and 24 in the next couple of Shield matches.
I think barring anything dramatic, he's in that team. Okay. I feel like he's in there no matter what, basically.
Do you think Webster's in the team no matter what?
I don't think so. I touched on it a bit before, but he missed this first round. If it does fix a lot of problems if Webster goes out of the starting 11. You've got Marnus in his preferred spot. We've got 2 specialist openers. The problem with Webster, it's a good problem to have. He's been playing so well. During that West Indies tour with bat and ball, he was performing superbly in really difficult conditions. He rescued the Aussies on multiple occasions, and then his debut at the beginning of this year against India was just incredible. He really stood up. He's someone who's done well domestically for multiple years now, deserved the call-up. It would be so harsh if he was to miss out for this test side, but that little ankle injury hasn't done himself any massive favours. He's now only probably got 2 rounds of Shield to prove himself. Is he in the... He probably is in the best Australian 11, but I don't know if he's in the most balanced Australian 11. I feel like just to get that balance right, you want Smith at 4, you want Marnus at 3 and 2 specialist openers, and it would be really, really tough, but it would fix a lot of things for the selectors.
Yeah. What I can imagine about Beau Webster is he's got these 2 Shield matches, he's probably going to make runs, because he always makes Shield runs.
Yeah.
Let's move on to someone a little younger, a lot younger. Ollie Peake. What a fantastic innings this was to win the game for Victoria. 70 not out on day 4. It was fantastic at Adelaide Oval to see a young player just grab the spotlight like that.
And was lucky on his first ball, actually.
Yes.
Henry Hunt, your guy at that short leg. A very tough chance.
It was tough. He did middle it to him.
It was one of the ones that was in and out in an instant and barely had any time to react. But yes, got that chance first ball and made the most of it. Guided them to a really, really gritty victory, a really unlikely win against the defending champions of the Shield as well. 19 years old. He also got a 50 on debut, which was about 8 months ago at the start of this year for Victoria. National selectors have been keeping an eye on him. He's been on 2 Australia A tours now as well. Got runs against Sri Lanka over the winter. Struggled against India last month, but another player for the future. How many of these under-19 World Cup champions are coming through and putting in amazing performances? Even in grade cricket in Sydney, we're seeing some of the players put in some record-breaking performances.